Hello my dear students, welcome to SR ICSE English tutorial. Today I will be teaching you ICSE poem class 10, A Considerable Speck by Robert Frost. Before we begin, first we have to deal with the title. The title says A Considerable Speck. Considerable means important, that is noteworthy, and speck means a very tiny dot or a spot, almost microscopic. Now, the title is oxymoron. There is a poetic device which has been used in the title that is called oxymoron. Oxymoron is a type of writing, that is when we place two contradictory or opposite terms side by side. Here considerable means very important, and speck, which is tiny or microscopic, that means it's very difficult to see with your naked eyes, that is speck. So how can be such a tiny or minute thing be important, being so important? This is what he has tried, Robert Frost has tried to bring out through his poem. Now let's start. The beginning, a speck that would have been beneath my sight, so there is a spot that is beneath. Beneath means under my sight, under my eyes. So he can see a very minute spot right under his eyes, the poet, on any but a paper sheet so white. On any means there is a sheet of white paper right in front or of the poet, set of across what I had written there. And what the speck is doing? The speck is set off across. That means the speck is scrolling. First, the poet detects a speck on the white sheet which is right in front of him, and then he sees that dot or that spot slowly crawling, that is set off across what I had written. What I had written, the words that he had been writing. He was writing something on that white paper, and he can see a small dot which is moving from one side to another. And I had idly poised my pen in air, and then all of a sudden, when he noticed that dot or that spot, he just left his pen suspended in air. Poised means stopped. Idly here means lazily. Why lazily? Because he did not want to. He did not want to, but then still he stopped his pen, and his pen was means just above his paper. He lifted his hand and he observed the dot. To stop it with a period of ink. To stop it, it refers to the sentence. Here it refers to the sentence with a period of ink. Period of ink, just to add a punctuation. The author, the poet, was about to end the sentence with a punctuation. When something strange about it, again, about it here means that spot, that dot, made me think this was no dust speck by my breathing blown. So all of a sudden the author, the poet, realized that this cannot be just a random dust, just it's not a bit of random dust that we see around, breathing blown, that means his breath has blown it on the paper, but unmistakably a living mite. So it is not dust, but it's a living creature. It's a mite. Mite is a very small insect, that is microscopic insect. With inclinations, it could call its own. With inclination, it has its own natural tendency. It has its own way of acting. So it is just moving or crawling, whatever it is doing, it's doing on its own. So it's what he recognizes it's a living mite. It paused as with suspicion of my pen. Suspicion of my pen, it had doubt. It paused. The mite also paused. It was crawling, then it paused. Suspicion, it had some doubt. What? What doubt? That the poet might harm the creature. And then all of a sudden it changed and came racing wildly on again, where to my manuscript. Manuscript means that document on which he was writing was not yet dry, So all of a sudden the mite came racing. Racing means very fast to where my manuscript. He was continuing with his writing and the ink was not yet dry. That means he had written just now, the ink has not dried up, and he can see that mite all of a sudden came to that spot. Then paused again, then the mite stopped again and either drank, either it tasted what is it, or smelt the scent of the ink with loathing. Neither it scented good, neither it found the smell good or the taste good, maybe whatever, either it had tasted or it had smelt it, whatever it is, with loathing with hatred, distasteful, it did not like it. For again it turned about and then to fly. Plainly with an intelligence I dealt. Now here what the poet realizes, that plainly means a very simple creature. With an intelligence I came across, I saw myself an intelligence, that the mite is an intelligent creature. It also has a brain to think. So it is almost no less than a human being. It also sensed a danger. It also turned its own way, and when it understood that the poet is going to harm it, it just ran away. So this is nothing but an intelligent thinking. It seemed too tiny, very tiny, microscopic, to have room for feet. Feet means the feet with which it is running here and there. Yet must have a set of them complete. You know, insects, like we have a set of feet, 2 feet, that is a set of feet. Similarly, insects also, they have 5, 6 set of feet together that it uses to move from here and there, to express how much it didn't want to die. So the mite used its feet and ran away. Why it ran away? So that the poet could not harm it. And this expressed how much that tiny creature, though it is very, very tiny, but still it wanted to exist, till it wanted to survive. This is nothing but its wish to live. And that is why, with that, using the within its set of feet, it tried to escape death. It ran with terror and with cunning crept. It ran with terror to escape death. That is why ran with terror. With cunning crept. Cunning crept, creeping slowly. And why cunning? Cunning because it behaved like a hunter. You know, when a hunter, it sees the prey. When a hunter finds his prey, it moves so that his feet does not make any sound. So similarly, this mite also started creeping or running in exactly like a hunter, without making any movement. It faltered. Next time what he saw, that it faltered as if it changed its mind. I could see it hesitate, and then I means the poet could see that the mite was hesitating. Then in the middle of the open sheet, that white sheet on which he was writing, cower down. Cower down means sat down, crouched down, as if surrendering. Desperate, in desperation to accept. Desperation, desperately surrendering. Why did it surrender? To accept whatever I accord it of fate. To accept. The mite understood that it cannot escape the danger. So it surrendered, it sat down, it stopped running, and whatever it accorded, or the poet chose, the poet allowed it of fate. So the fate of the mite is now in the hand of the poet. This the mite understood, and that is why it gave up. I have none of the tenderer than thou. I have none of the tenderer, the soft feeling, gentle nature, or sentimental. So he is saying, I am not that kind of a human being that is very gentle, having excessive gentle nature or excess sentiment. Then thou, collectivistic, regimenting love. Then thou referring to human beings. This is a satire. What is collectivistic? Collectivistic refers to group control. And regimenting means that control according to rules. So human being always try to control the behavior of masses, behavior of people according to the rules set by them. Otherwise, with which the modern world is being swept too much obsessed. Too, we are always fond of power. Human being is fond of power. We want to control according to our wish. You have to follow the rules again set by human being. Otherwise, kill. What is the solution to it? To mass killing. That is love for destroying the mass. He is saying that at least even if I'm not having too much gentle nature, then I am not that cruel also, that I will destroy destroy lives. Collectivistic regimenting love with which the modern world, that means modern people, is being swept. Swept means possessed. Too much love for power, too much love for controlling the group, otherwise mass killing. But this poor microscopic item now, he comes back to mite again. Since it was nothing, it has nothing, I knew evil of it, the mite did not harm me in any way. So it has been acting in its own way, but it has not done any bad to the poet, it has not harmed the poet in any way. I let it lie there. I let it lie means, at one point of time it surrendered, so it was sitting quietly. So I let it lie there till I hope it slept. Till I hope means the poet wanted the mite to sleep, to fall asleep. I have a mind myself. I have a mind here refers to intelligence. He says, I have intelligence of my own and recognize mind. And recognize mind means I value intelligence. When I perceive, when I meet, when I perceive, when I come across with it, it refers to that faculty, that ability of intelligence in any guise, in any form of living, in any living form, in any form of life. That means the poet is saying that as I have intelligence, here intelligence means brain. So when I have intelligence, I always appreciate and recognize, I appreciate, I value same intelligence when I come across, when I find that faculty, that ability to think in any other form of living creature. No one can know how glad I am to find, and when I really find other creature also as intelligent as I am happy. How glad I am happy to see intelligence in other creature. On any sheet, the least display of mind, on any sheet, even the sheet on which he saw how intelligent the mite is. He is calling the mite intelligent? Because the mite tried every way of escaping death. It showed its power of fight back. It showed how to act in danger. The least display of mind, least display, the minute display, display of intelligence by a minute creature. The display of intelligence by a minute creature, that is the mite. This is what the poet is saying. He respected that intelligence, and that is why he left the mite. The poet left the mite on its own. Now the point to be noted, we have come to the end of this poem. Now the point to be noted here, the poem ends. The poem ends with optimism. Why? Because the poet here shows his belief in existence of life. Now he thinks that every creature has its capability or ability and we should respect it. The creature here faced challenge with courage. The mite being a very minute creature, it did not give up. And the poet here actually wants to say about cooperation, that if we cooperate, with, all the all the stratas of society, with everyone, this universal brotherhood, then life will become easy. It will be easier, then there will be no such challenges. That he was, as he showed mercy, as he showed kindness to the mite. Mite is a very, insignificant creature. It's very petty. So we should not think like that, whichever, because if it is tiny or it is petty, whatever is tiny is petty, is unimportant. No. God has created such creature. So every creature has the right to be on this planet, to be in this world. So this creature, actually the minuteness, and he brings the attention on often overlooked, that is, this is a world made by God, and God has given right to live to every creature, not only to man. So this here, the poet, so we say the last 2-3 lines, the poet ends the poem with optimism. He sees that, as I told you, that right to live or right to survive is the main point. Not only to exert power, not to capture people or not to dominate people with power. This is what he wants to say in this poem. So that's it for today. So as usual, if you like this video, like this explanation, please share it with your friend and like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.